Welcome to Soulful Conversations, the podcast that highlights stories of individuals sharing various life experiences and challenges. We showcase strength and resilience found in everyday experiences. So get ready to be inspired, informed, and entertained as we dive into topics with wit, wisdom, and a whole lot of soul. This is your space to laugh, learn, and connect with two fabulous women making a difference. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive in together to this soulful conversation with Shar and Miko. Thank you for joining us on Soulful Conversation today. We have mother of Horace Lorenzo Anderson, Miss Donita Sinclair. She's going to talk to us a little bit about the loss of her child and the process that she's gone through and the process that she's still continuing to go through as a community advocate against gun violence in Seattle. And thank you, Donita, for coming today. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us today.
Hi, Danita, Miko, the Moonlight, just
Yeah.
welcoming you into our space.
Thank
Us,
you.
Soulful Conversation, Shar the Star. So let's just get into tell us a little bit about your son, sweetheart, and what happened.
Okay, so thank you guys for having me. So again, I'm Donita
Absolutely.
Sinclair Martin, and I am the mother of Horace Lorenzo Anderson. So
Mhm.
in 2020, the summer of 2020 of June, my son was murdered at they wanted to say it was a autonomous zone, a protest, but I can't tell you what all was going on or what was behind it, because it does have different layers of tears that our community had been going through against police brutality. So when
Mm,
it initiated, when it first came together, I
Mhm.
didn't go down there, but I understood the calling, right? And so, but I had to be mindful that our community, a lot of people that do the call of actions is still infected, right? And when I say infected, I'm talking about the disease of pain, fear, and anger. And
Mhm.
we have a urge to speak out, but it's just because of we're mirroring what somebody else is doing and really don't even know what we all doing, right? So in some 2020, my son was basically influenced because my son, people don't know, I had him at 4 months. I had him at 24 weeks. So my son was a preemie that came with a whole bunch of setbacks and barriers, ISP, special ed classes, and you guys will probably see him here in the back. And
Mhm.
that, when, working with young men of color. Number one, we're already making with a young man, but then being a black young man in a special ed, that causes it builds a wall, right? It builds a
Mhm.
of
wall
course.
where, yeah, that we want to be accepted, right? In which
Yes.
I was trying to build a relationship with him where he was so secure that his small setbacks or challenges didn't define who he was. But when we working with one of these different public schools and Rainier Beach and Washington's and Hazen and Renton,
Mhm.
everybody's not the same, right? And so he being picked on and not really wanting to be in the
Oh
special
wow.
ed
Right.
allowed him to not be himself, to where he is hanging with people, right, that really didn't care about him. Friend,
Mhm.
like I tell him,
Absolutely.
friends don't take friends to danger, but he wanted to be accepted,
Mhm.
so he gets, I usually be at work because I worked at Pocan, People of Color Against AIDS Network, and I worked at Plymouth Housing. So I had two jobs. So at midnight to 8, I was downtown on 3rd, where the chaos was just beginning, when right after the COVID, the
Mhm.
protest, so we went from
Oh, okay.
a epidemic for COVID
The
to where,
pandemic.
The George
yeah,
Yeah.
a
Floyd.
pandemic to now an epidemic, right? So
Mhm.
it just went from
Right.
one tier to another tier. And I think people were still trying to channel that we weren't able to come outside. We couldn't be in places, so when you
You're
do
right.
get to come outside, it's just like having a kid in a cage or a dog locked up. Once they get out, is free
Buck
for
wild.
all, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so I think that because I can't tell you what that was created, I just knew that it wasn't something wasn't right about it, right? So, the first couple of days I can understand, but once it started carrying on a week and 2 weeks, and time started, I knew something it was going to get dangerous, more dangerous, because we now we lost control, right? The police, we got the president chatting and telling. At this time, former President Trump was our former
Right.
president. At this time, he's chatting up here to our mayor, telling her to shut it down. Kids was getting, I guess, pepper sprayed, and just all kind of different challenges instead of community building with law, right? The law enforcement or community restoring the relationship that has been broken. It was for a free for all. I can't tell you what it was, right? So when President Trump had told Jenny Durkin to shut it down, right then and there, I wouldn't even be having this conversation, because guess what? My son would have had an opportunity to, number one, not just him, anybody. They wouldn't have been there because it would have been done. It would have been shut down. So
Right.
once she tweeted "Summer of Love" like it was a game, we as this is our community. This is where we live. We supposed to stood up and said, it's not a summer of love. Wasn't nothing healthy or funny about it, but time went on. My son must have ran into a young man that he must have had some type of encounter with previously, right? Because they ain't gonna tell mamas all the fights and everything that go on. I didn't know that him and the young man had a problem until the day he was deceased, right? Because I know that me as a mother, I'm a capture that moment. I'm gonna get this resolved head up. Not that I'm engaging or promoting my son to be a part of no violent, but how can, number one, I'm always open for having a conversations, because it's not about a pump, right? If there's no real reason to have beef or fight, be done with it. You know what I'm saying? But these kids
Absolutely.
is everybody trying to be so Superman and Superwoman, and at the end of the day, it's all our pain. We don't know how to have an outlet for it, right? So
That's the point right there. Very
yeah,
emotional. Very emotional
exactly.
generation. Yes.
Right, very emo. These is our kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And back then, as we was kids having kids, right? I had my first
Absolutely.
baby at 16. I didn't know nothing about having no baby, but I knew that I thought I wanted to be grown and fast, right, and not
Yeah.
live. My mom was an addict, so I'm gonna make sure, just this little chip on my shoulder, but not being honest about pain, right? Not being honest about somebody I done been molested, not being honest that I done been with a guy, he done socked me or slapped me, right? We so many reasons why we leave home to come to community. And so when Lorenzo, him and the young man got into it, the sad part is everything was on camera. Why?
So, just not to interrupt you, but I just want people to know that don't know where this happened at. It was in Seattle. It's called Capitol Hill Occupy Protest, short name CHOP. And it was just a bad situation from the beginning
Most definitely.
to the end.
To the end, all the way, right? And then we got law enforcement saying that they feeling unsafe, right? And then we got community saying they unsafe. So, but everybody's unsafe. So how was we bridging that gap when, instead of building and restoring a relationship, the police left, right? It wasn't no sit down, no meeting. How do we bridge this gap? It was, I'm gonna prove to you that you guys need us, right? I guess then at this time they was defunding the police, right? And then when that occurred, nobody gave them the fine print on what defund the police mean. It didn't mean we are getting rid of police. It meant that we were going to use some of the budget to put in outlets of community-based organization, but they allowed, right? Everybody that signed the defund the police, the people that put it together, they allowed what the misunderstandings, they allowed the chaos or the confusion instead of really, channeling down and allowing our people to understand what it is that defunded the police supposed to mean. They allow people to just run with it. So I guess Seattle police got a whiff of it and either they used it for their benefit or they allowed, because nothing good came from it. So anyway, make a long story short, my son, the young man, ran up to him and he chased him around a car, and then they jumped him. Right, they jumped him for over an hour. They beat him. He's
Oh
19. Why
wow.
does it take 16? Six young men, right? Young men with muscles to
Wow.
be a kid, right? And then, but all you see is the video. That's the part that's heartbreaking. Is why would you
Totally.
guys is okay to video this kind of pain? Why was that? Why did that feed our children, right? Why was that food for them, right? Instead of it being disgusting or somebody
Right.
saying we need to stop it, it was fuel. Okay,
Of
so
course. Of
once
course.
they beat him, all you heard was shot, boom, 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 shots. Okay, so then the next time I see is a Good Samaritan truck, right, saying that he's gonna give my son an opportunity. Well, no, I messed up. So I seen a young man send a video to me, a friend of a friend sent a video saying that how he went interviewed the fire department and medical department, asking them, which they were on not even on a block, not even a block away. When the breakdown is, they said that they only way that they were going in. So this was all script. This all was like a permit, right? They was talked about, safety rules and stuff that they would do to enter if emergency had occurred, right? So,
Right. So
so
the chop is a they designated this area and basically fenced it off in front of the police station. The police hit cuts. They're like, this is out of control. We are leaving. They left. So it's all these people in this fenced area that are have lost their
16
minds.
blocks, 16 block,
That have lost their
16 block
minds.
radius,
Wow.
In
right?
Seattle.
Wow.
To just purge, to just
Mhm.
do whatever. So
Mhm.
on top of my
Whoa.
son being, go ahead.
No, I was saying purge. You using your words correctly. That is
Yeah,
insane because that's what it sounds like. The
that's
picture
what it
you're
was.
painting, I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy.
That's exactly what it was. And then instead of
Wow.
them, on top of my son being hurt, they said that they had over 30,000 calls to SPD that people got raped, people was getting beat. It was dangerous, right?
Mm.
It was dangerous there. So my little old son, he was something was gonna happen. It just happened to be my son. You know what I'm saying? Because danger was there. So
Right.
yeah. So once he got shot, the fire department, and we got it on video. I wish I would have been a little bit more prepared for this because I could have screen showed y'all. So on video, the fire department said, we already been told not to enter. So that means
Mhm.
my son, you done already somebody done already told you don't enter there after
Right.
somebody's coming to ask you to help this young man. We told not to enter. You told not to enter. Well, if you told not to enter, then why are you here? What are you here for if it's not to enter, right? If it's not to
Not to
help to
help.
save life.
Right. Right.
So after they was told not to enter, Good Samaritans took my son up to Harborview. So not experts that are trained, right? Not, I
Mhm.
mean, anything they could have happened, right? But they didn't do anything to prevent him to still be alive. They made sure, you know what I'm saying? So that's the part that is the more emotional part is
Right.
why did my baby get denied medical attention? You know what I'm saying?
That
Why did these people, would you want me to do it? If I was in your position, would you want me to say I'm not going to give your child any type of treatment, medical, anything? That's just I don't know. So
It just
once I
sounds
got to
like a really dark situation, just the whole
Mhm.
atmosphere. It just seems like there was just no love, no hope, nothing good could have came out of it anyway, with law enforcement turning their back, with the paramedics turning their back, with
Right.
just the energy of the young people feeling the despair with George Floyd, with the pandemic. It was just a
It was a
horrible
lot.
situation. It was a lot, and my heart definitely goes out to you.
I
Being a
appreciate that.
mother of three sons as well, just a mother, period, having to go through this and channel your way through this emotional process. What other support systems are you working with, or have you encountered to help you get through this?
Be sure to stay connected with us during the week through our weekly podcast on Spotify, our YouTube channel, Patreon, and social media.